From Glitch HQ on Riverside Avenue in double-jointed Minneapolis, this is Nice Games Club, the show where nice game devs talk gaming and game development.
I'm Martha McGarry, and I make nice games.
I'm Steve McGregor, and I make nice games.
And I'm Arthur Croy. I, too, make nice games. For this week's episode, it's another Nice Games Jam. We've been given a prompt, and we're going to try to come up with a complete game that you can play by the end of the episode. Will it work? We and you are about to find out. So, if everyone's ready, let's start.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to the Design Lab, Nice Games Club.
So, Martha, tell us about this prompt we've been given by our boyfriend, Dylan. That's who he is to this program.
Yes, my boyfriend, Dylan, says that he would like us to make a game that is a paper prototype of a game that is movement silliness, like Gang Beasts or Octodad, but in a card game. So you have a deck of cards that can change the physics or points of articulation in your character, and then you have to complete some challenge or obstacle course or fight or something that we can decide. And so, yeah, hilarious movement games.
Okay. So I don't
know how we're going to do this, but...
Well, that's how it always starts. So for listeners who are new to Nice Games Jam, it's pretty much as I described in the intro. We're going to try to make it happen in an hour or less. And I guess we can just get started. We've got decks of cards.
We have 3 decks.
And that's our only props that we have this time.
Yes.
We just sort of posed that restriction on ourselves.
Yeah.
Mostly because I think when you said the prompt earlier, we just got this moments ago. But Dylan mentions decks of cards. I'm like, great, I'll just get some decks of cards. But that's actually not he describes it differently. Like, I'm thinking of like making the bodies out of cards.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not what he meant, right?
No, I think that could be one interpretation of it. I could just... should I just read the whole thing and that we can stick that back at where I said the paraphrasing of it?
No, I'm just curious, like how we're going to, what are we going to use these cards for?
Yeah,
because because Dylan was specific about this. He wants this to be a paper prototype.
Yeah.
In previous Nice Games Jams, we've just said we're going to make a tabletop game, and that's been useful because that's what we can do here on the program.
Yeah.
Not a lot of pair programming happening here on the show. But if we decide that this is going to be something we want to make as a video game, that's something we haven't done yet for Nice Games Jam.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. He wants someday to be able to play another movement silly game because there aren't enough of those.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. So in that case, the way I had originally interpreted it is like we just need to get everybody's bodies moving weirdly and not like the actual player character moving weirdly. But
you could have, so it could be instead like a game where you physically have to move.
That's what I was thinking. That's how I interpreted it. But I don't know. Maybe we can
do whatever we want. It's just a prompt. We can ignore him also.
We've done that before.
He is evil after all.
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, like, if we were to make something that would make us like move in a weird thing, like you could use that to like for a VR game or something too, or like motion controls. So it would still apply to a video game regardless of what we decided to do. Yes. So I don't know. I thought that was like an interesting way of going about it. I just don't know how we would go about getting everyone to move weird. The only way I was thinking of it is like, oh, you have something I want on your pile. I gotta get through obstacle course to get it. What if we had to like make a card pyramid? What is it?
House of Cards.
House of Cards. If we had to make a house of cards and you needed to like maneuver around the house of cards to get other people's cards or something.
Well, I do not have a lot of confidence that the three of us could make so much as a single story house of cards.
Fair enough.
Especially with these particular cards that we have.
They're very slippy.
And this particular table, which is meant to write on with a whiteboard marker. Right. So
you're just joining us on excuses.
Okay. So that won't work. We got 52 cards plus jokers.
I would like to, if we're going to do this as
a card that tells you to follow Bicycle Cards on social media.
We'll link them in the show notes.
Find out about first about new products, exclusives.
Whoa, goodness.
Anyway, sorry, just had to poke a little bit of fun for that.
So if we're making this as a prototype, as a paper prototype, then it should be totally abstract from what we think this game is going to be.
Sure.
So if we think this is going to be a VR game, or actually are moving your body, then our prototype does not need to do that.
Yes. Okay.
And likewise, if it's sort of like Game Beasts, where our characters are sort of ragdolly, then we can just use a single card to represent a body. And we can maybe use different cards to represent states or something like that.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
And then use the table that we have in front of us as sort of like the play space that would be the virtual world or whatever.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, Gang Beasts is multiplayer wrestling game where like you use physics to throw people off of the stage. And Octodad is a single player game where you're pretending you're a dad when you're an octopus.
Right. And that's just about like trying to like walk straight.
Yeah, basically.
I like that as a concept.
Yeah.
And we have all these cards, so maybe we each have like an army of characters.
Okay.
We don't have any processing restrictions on this simulation, so let's have many. Let's go full Helm's Deep on this, right?
Like it. Okay. So yeah, we got aces. We got twos. We got threes.
What else we got, Steven?
Fours.
Whoa.
I know.
Don't stop now.
No, okay. We have. Oh, I like that idea. Like we have an army of characters, and they all move wildly differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if it was like Chinese checkers, where there's three of us, and so we have to get to the other side, or something, and then we can use. But unlike Chinese checkers, there's a lot more in play, physically.
Yeah. Okay.
It could be like Capture the Flag, where you have to go get something and bring it back.
Oh, that's good.
I like that.
And then you can transfer between your own.
But it's hard to carry the thing because you have fish limbs or something.
Oh man, this is kind of reminding me a little bit of Pigman. In a way, like all of your, because we're supposed to have different characters that have different properties, right? So all of the characters that you have on your side of your Chinese checkers board or whatever, they have different properties, and you can use those properties to somehow maneuver the. I'm going to say it's a Joker card for your Capture the Flag item, and you somehow have to maneuver the Joker card using all of the different properties of your army. So maybe the Joker card needs to be like a really wild object, like a oddly shaped one, something that moves erratically. Like I don't know, a water balloon.
Yeah,
that moves weird.
In the simulation, it would be this soft body physics thing that would just roll off your. So you need to have like 7 of your guys like carrying it.
Yeah, and it could just be that you have to get it somewhere.
Yes. Okay.
Without dropping.
So what we can do is we can simulate the interaction between characters by like drawing from the deck, or we could go run and grab a die to have a chance of this or that to represent what would otherwise be like precision with the controller.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So it could be like they could represent directions that the blob will move randomly.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Like this will move, like a 3 would mean it moves left or something. Mm-hmm. But how would you counter that?
It should be, why don't we let's make this a 2-player game. Okay. Just so we can make this simple. And then we've got these 3 decks. So the third deck can be the draw deck that determines random stuff. And we can curate this so it could be just a deck of 15 cards that we decide what they each mean or something.
Okay.
So what it could be is maybe on each, or we could have a small deck that determines, you draw that in the case that you have some of your characters holding the blob, in which case every turn, that we'll just call them turns here, you draw a random event of which way it goes, which represents the incalculable physics of it all. And then you have to then react to that behavior.
Somehow.
With a choice that you, the player, make.
Okay.
Right?
I like it.
So because the 2 of you have easy access to the center of the table, you guys could be the players.
Okay.
And I will be the CPU. Okay. I'll be the blob at the center.
Okay, so I need to send the thing over to the blob to pick it up, right?
I think so. Yes. I mean, we don't have to make that the object of the game.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds
I say let's
go. It could
go
be just have a relaxing afternoon at the park.
Yes. but maybe not this game. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Well, that's our setting. Is it's a relaxing afternoon in the park.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. Yes.
And two teams of like opposing park goers are just for some reason fighting over this thing.
Or it could not be even fighting over. It could just
Right.
be it's like a pickup game.
Yeah, this is like a sport that exists.
Yes.
Don't
Oh,
question us.
Yes. Yep.
It's
Yep.
Blob Ball.
Yeah.
And
What, you haven't heard of Blob Ball before? Well,
Play it all the time in the park in the summers.
Yeah.
What, you didn't grow up in northern Connecticut? Like, or wherever we're gonna say this is from.
Okay. Okay. So, Martha, do you want to start? So that's our blob here in the center. There's two jokers, or is that your army?
I thought this was the Blob, but
This is the
should we use one or two?
One seems
One is
fine.
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Our
We'll go
blob
with
is
the
in
more
the
colorful one. More colorful Joker. Okay, so should I put out like my players? Do I pick like
So,
Put the
Stephen, you were
king-
saying that like Pikmin, you'd have different types of players.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the faces would represent behaviors or states, like the state their body is in.
Okay.
And then all the players would be the same. But I kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the difficulty of that is that we'd have to develop a bunch of different properties for all of them. I guess we'd have to develop a different property for each of the cards, regardless of whether they're.
So how about we have it? I mean, yeah, you're right. We don't develop a ton of different types, but maybe we have like a defender type, an offensive type, and
Okay.
then some other
Just really simple ones?
Yeah, like 3 types of players, and then they can be the 3 of the suits that represent that.
Okay.
And
That sounds good.
And then maybe we could have some mechanic, at least for our purposes, where you flip over it means something. They're either downed or incapacitated or something. I don't know.
Sure.
And we can, we could have it where they're, you could rotate them 90 degrees to mean they're encumbered or something. We can come up with something.
Okay.
But like, how big should this team be? How many people are at the park?
Oh man, is this a game of ultimate frisbee?
Well, there's something about like if we're thinking about the theme of it, like if you really want to make it seem, like regular human basketball is a game this, where it's sort of there's a lot of comedy in its premise.
Yeah.
We can make it where it's just 2 teams of 50. And that's just like ridiculous that many people would play a game in the park.
Yeah.
Or it could be more realistic, like it's 4 on each side.
Sure. I like 2 games of 2 people, 50. That'd be fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got 50.
Well, we got 52 cards, and 2 of them are jokers, right? Or are those? Is it 54 with jokers?
It's 54. with
54.
Joker.
Okay. So if you really want to do it.
So that I don't know.
So maybe the game just has a deep bench. I'm thinking about the physical space of the table for our purposes.
Sure.
To have 100 cards that we keep track of, but you could also stack them up maybe, and that could represent a group.
Ooh, stacking.
Right?
Oh, stacking. Okay.
This game is going to play like a MOBA, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be overhead.
Oh yeah.
Or more of a Warcraft style.
That's what I'm
game.
thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay. So I like the idea of stacking cards or characters in this, especially if it's supposed to be like wacky physics. How do we approach that?
Well,
how do we counter like the physics pulling us left or pulling us right, and then like with a controller you would have to like push yourself back to the left.
Yes. It could just be that like, okay, so Mark, you've got a bunch of cards.
Yeah.
You're the AI. You're the blob ball, correct?
Right. So I think when no one's touching it, it doesn't do anything.
Yes.
But maybe so I'll have like 2 or 3 different AI decks. One will be anytime someone has the blob, and I'll draw it for a turn.
Okay.
Other might be like when you form a group, then I'll draw something like maybe like, oh, you all fall down or something.
Okay.
And then in terms of like the specific how you react with the controller, we could put that on a pretty high level. Like you can just maybe we can decide I'm going to try this or try that, and then we can roll a die or something to determine if it was a successful attempt or something. And then all the probabilities of this are not going to really hang together very well, but we can sort of.
We could have it like you have a hand, and then to counter it you have to play something like that matches the suit or something.
Ooh, I like that quite a lot.
Or-
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, and then then that uses our cards in a really good way too. Okay, cool. So why don't we just in terms of resource management here?
Yeah.
If we have 3 different types of players or of avatars for 3 decks, you'll have you'll have a 4th suit.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
To be your hand.
Yes. Yes. So I need to sort these.
Wait, we're sorting them into
Are we starting on the suits?
I mean, I'm just proposing.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
So you'd have to draw in your hand. You'd have a matching number then.
Something like that. I mean, we could have many more decks, and we could have done this differently, but
we're on the path.
Yeah, this is it's what we got in front of us right now. Is this seems like the simplest way.
Okay. So I'll resort them. I just shuffled them all back together.
Oh no. I mean, the other way to do it is to reduce our team size down from 36 or whatever.
Yeah.
To have all the 4s, all the 3s, all the 2s, and then your draw deck could have multiple suits. You know.
Oh.
Just a quick way to do. This is very shop talky, but we got to figure this out.
Yes.
So you'd have a team of 12 then.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that would be more manageable.
So the jacks, queens, and kings would be the three types of, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it.
And then you got plenty of other cards that we can figure out purposes for.
Yes, that makes more sense.
Because I'm thinking like each individual action isn't necessarily so hard when you're in a physics game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so most of the time you'll be able to recover from fishtailing out or falling over or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But then if you run out of that suit, like you're going to fall over. You've overcorrected, you know?
Oh, that's a really good expression of what would ultimately be implemented very much differently, but would probably feel the same. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I will sort my deck into suits.
Okay.
With not knowing exactly what we're going to do with it. But then we have,
a deck sorted that way.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So this is where we put in the time-lapse music.
We're waiting. This is the waiting song. We're sorting all the cards. When will they be done? This isn't good audio.
Disagree. Okay, so we have our jacks, our queens, and our kings.
Yes.
And those are our 3 different types of deals.
Gotcha.
And you have all sorted them not by that.
Nope. Jacks, queens, kings. Oh, they're different. Oh. Piles of kings, piles of queens, piles of jacks.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Doing that.
Yeah, suit is irrespective here.
Okay.
Just so you'll have 4 in each group, and you'll have 3 groups. So then now we'll decide what each type is. So, like any sport, you want attackers, defenders, and goalies or something. But it doesn't have to be that. I really have no idea.
ADC support tank.
Okay, see, I don't know any of those terms. So.
I think that attackers. So like, I don't know.
So they'd be faster and they'd be able to get the blob.
Yes. And then defenders can be the ones that
they could form a protective shield around
the blob, preventing it from falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're more stable.
Right. So if you have like a defender's encircling the blob and the blob goes that way, it's like a free correction.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. And then you said attackers are faster ones, right?
I mean, I'm guessing.
Potentially,
I mean, what do you think?
That makes sense.
Like they'd be able to, the 2 teams of attackers would go to it. Yeah.
Right. They'd get to it first. And then, and then your defenders would, keep it stable and get it moving. And then what is your third role?
I think some specialty role.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know enough
they've
about
got grappling hooks.
Pick it up from the equipment locker at the park.
Yeah. Everyone comes standard with that.
Yeah.
I don't know, like that. Yeah, that would, well, maybe not grappling hooks, but like something that would like allow them to manipulate it regardless of what state they're in.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like the way I'm thinking of it is like, if you're attached to the blob, grabbing it or whatever, then you are in one state. If you are not attached to the blob, then you're likely moving towards the blob or whatever. So you're in a separate state. The jacks or whatever we decide to make it, they can do actions regardless of what state they're in. Does that make sense? Or is that too complicated?
Well, maybe what it could be is that it just describes the because this is all going to be physics based, right?
Sure,
so it could just describe the physicality of each one. Like jacks could be fast, but like they can't lift the blob. Like when they're fast when they're not attached to the blob, but when they are picking the blob up, they're not as strong, so they move slower when they're on the blob.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
We could have, I don't know, ones who are really big, who move slow all the time, but they are very stable with the blob.
Mm-hmm.
And then another
one could just be the Marios, and they just have regular stats.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like the Jack should be the Marios. I don't know.
Well, I think the
They
queen
seem
should be the
lame.
Mario because they're in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that makes more sense. Yeah, that does make more sense.
Right.
Okay, yep. And then it tracks with everything. Yeah, okay.
The jacks are quick, the kings are slow.
Yes.
And the queens are just right.
Yes. I like it. Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so these are much more. It's really just about speed is our differentiator here mainly.
Yes.
But all three types of players can do the same things.
Yes.
They just have different ability to do all the things.
Yes.
Okay, that works for me.
Exactly. Cool. Okay.
So movement. How do we do movement here on our table here? Maybe one move is like moving one card length or something.
Oh yeah.
We don't have a grid here to deal with, and I think we'd want to play this more like Warhammer, where it's you actually just move in any arbitrary direction,
Yeah.
rather than on a grid anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be like the ship game, which I don't remember its real name, but you have a card and that you have these little paper ships and you measure out one card length and then they go. That's how far they can go.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm gonna move my jack. So, okay, let's move. I'm just gonna move the queen so we can establish the rules first. I'm gonna move on one card length towards the blob ball.
So I guess on each turn you get one character to move.
Yeah.
Should we maybe speed it up a little bit?
Yes. Actually, you're right. I think you're right. Let's have you take potentially
Like 3 moves?
Three moves.
actions. Yeah.
And or maybe you can move 3 characters, because that's how you wouldn't be able to move. If it was a board game, you could say one character moves 3 times, but in a video game, you wouldn't really be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
I want one of my queens to make 3 moves towards the blob.
So Stephen, what did I just say?
You said what? Oh, you can only move the character once.
Right, because in the video game, you can't pause play to take 3 turns.
Now I see what you're saying.
Right, but
I misunderstood.
So jacks can move 3 lengths, queens can move 2, kings can move 1.
Okay.
Maybe we start at the edge of the table then.
Yes.
So you can just keep your cards off the deal for now.
Yes.
And you can move up to 3 of them at a time. I guess this gives you some choices. You can move 3 jacks to get up there, but then they are less capable of lifting and carrying, and we don't really know the rules on that yet. Or you could sort of slow walk 3 kings.
Ooh, I kind of like that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to move my kings real slow.
Okay.
They're just going to be like, They're slow, but they're close.
Okay. And I suppose from the edge of the table, or from the edge of the wherever your cards are, you can, when you introduce a player, you can start horizontally at any point. Let's say they were wherever they were at the edge of the field, so they can start from wherever. Okay, so let's just decide what are the actions any character can take.
Yes. Okay.
You can move.
You can move.
You could shove or attack. Some expression of that.
Sounds good.
You could block something, like block an attack,
or block the ball.
Or maybe maybe defend.
Well, you could block the ball from moving because you have those erratic movements, right?
Okay. Yeah. Or you could lift the ball.
Yes.
But it takes, let's say, a certain number of people to lift it.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
Let's just say
so. That's 4 actions then.
Yeah, that's 4 different actions. Okay. Martha, I guess it's your turn then. I moved my 3 kings.
Martha's thinking.
Jacks can move 3.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can be kind of rough with your measurements here on the table. It's okay.
So the blob is like 3 spaces away from.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it real quick, but that's
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get to that part of the game anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can move your cards in any direction you want, so you don't have to move them straight forward or perpendicular or whatever. Okay, so Martha has taken 2 of her fast-moving jacks and moved them towards the blob, very near the center, and one of her queens is about halfway there. I'm doing color commentary now.
Yes. Oh, right, because no one can see.
Right.
Okay, and Stephen has his 3 kings moved 1 space
Which
forward.
I'm realizing is a mistake because I need to prevent Martha from getting the ball to her side of the table and not from my side of the table. So having 3 kings on this side isn't going to help.
Well,
too
no,
much.
maybe it's a sports ball-y kind of thing. Maybe the goal is to get it to
Because
the other.
once I grab this, I can only move 1 space.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and also then it would advantage the fast-moving players, even if they are slow later, if you moved it back, because Martha also has to get through you. So really, by making a fast move, what you're determining is that the conflict happens closer to the opponent's side of the field, but they have a stronger defense than you have an offense. Okay. So it's a balancing mechanic.
Okay, so the ball is moving towards, if Martha has the ball will be moving towards me.
Stephen, the blob.
The blob, sorry. The blob will be moving towards me.
Right. This isn't soccer.
Right, of course. What do you think we are, sports people?
Okay, so Steven's got his slow walking kings.
Yes.
And it's his turn again
It is
now.
my turn. I will continue to march my slow moving kings.
I do love that whenever we do these games, you always have a strategy you really attach to right away, and then you question it immediately, but never give up on it.
That is how I play all board games.
Well, this is good because we can also see, what the different strategies how they'll play out as we determine these rules. All right, Martha is up.
Okay. I think the other thing, maybe jacks aren't as good at keeping the ball from doing whatever it's going to do.
Yeah, like they don't have as much of an opportunity to keep it afloat. Yeah,
maybe,
because they're a little wobblier.
Okay.
And when they run, they're just arms flapping around. It's going to look great.
Yeah. Floopy, floppy, floopy, floppy, floopy, floppy.
That's Martha's moving the jack as she says that.
Floopy, floppy, floopy, moving my other jack. Floopy, floppy, floopy, flop. I have 2 jacks on the ball.
Yeah. So why don't we make a stack then? Maybe with a little bit of fanning so you can see. Just make them on the position of where the thing is, just for clarity's sake, I guess. Okay. So now we have so Martha is on there. So now you've used your move. And it only really took you like 1.5 lengths to get there. So maybe you have enough to make an attempt on a lift.
Right, because I have to lift. And we should have hands, right? How many?
We'll figure that out once we need them.
Oops, these aren't shuffled.
But how many? It should take like 6 players to lift the thing, don't you think?
Well, I think more than 2.
At least 3.
I'd say at least 3.
Let's say 3. You can make the attempt.
Yeah.
But at 3, it's like. You're almost always going to drop it. But maybe the strategy is to drop it in the direction of your opponent and then pick it up again.
I like it.
So that could be a strategy of playing this game is like, fast moving, lift it, drop it before the other player has a chance to even reach it. Something like that.
Okay.
So you have one more move left or one more character left.
And I'm going to move the king. Boom.
So
my tank.
One of Martha's kings have made it onto the board.
Cool. Okay.
All right, Steven, you're up.
Doing it again. Slow moving kings.
Okay.
They're coming at you.
He's getting closer. He is now a mere 2 spaces away from being on the blob.
They're very threatening.
Mm-hmm.
I feel threatened.
Well, good. That was my intent.
Yep. So Martha now has her queen from its first move could make it to the blob at this point and give the requisite 3 to attempt a lift.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
La 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 la. Oop.
Okay, so let's just say Martha can try to lift the thing now. Once you have that many folks. All right, so now we come to the point where we have to write.
Now
AI
we come to the point of the game where Mark sings a silly song. No, just kidding.
Oh, is that point already? I thought that point was going later. Okay. So let's say you do lift it, right? You can always lift it, but then the question is what happens next, right? So you lift the thing in the air, and then I've got one suit here randomized. So now we have basically a 1 through 13 random number generator.
Cool.
So basically, maybe what we do is, Martha, I'll give you another suit, and then maybe we each draw a card, and then there's a handicap. So whoever
maybe we should play war.
It's war, but then you get to add 3 because we have 3 players.
Oh, okay.
And then that way, you always have a slight advantage. You're not always dropping it, but the more players you have, the more advantage you have.
Okay. Okay.
And maybe each, maybe it's compound. So if you have 6, you have a really good shot. So it's the first one is worth 1 point, the second is worth 2, the third is worth 3. So Martha, you have 6 plus your thing, but then the next one will get you 4 more.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So you're likely to hold on to it, but still possibly you won't.
Well, I don't know how you're going to beat that. The 6 plus whatever she draws.
Well, it's 13. It's a pretty wide range.
Oh, I suppose.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not. Maybe this is going to be overpowered.
We're gonna try it. Okay.
Draw your card.
It's a tricky.
I got an ace.
I got a 3.
So that's a 9. Did I get a 1 or a 13?
Yeah.
Well, there's no 1 if there's no ace. So let's say I got a 1.
Okay,
right?
that seems fair.
I mean, I don't like it, but because I want to win,
right?
Even though I'm just the AI. Okay, so Martha, you are able to hold on to it for this turn.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So you don't immediately drop it. And let's say if you drop it, we'll come up with some consequences that's like lose a turn or something like that.
Yeah, maybe before I move, I have to. Oh, yeah, there we go. So Steven just moved. I had 3 cards stacked on top of the Joker, and he moved it so that now the Joker is the top of the stack, which is very
Yeah.
visually pleasing.
Okay, so I like what you were saying, that basically you have to do this draw mechanic when you attempt a move.
Yeah.
So let's say you attempted to lift and you do it, but then every time you try to move also.
Yes.
Okay.
And let's say for the jacks, because you have 2 jacks and a queen, movement should be whoever, you only move as fast as the slowest mover,
Yes.
right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's how it would really work. Jacks would just say divide by 3, and then it's just, they only move 1
Yeah.
Yeah.
or something.
That sounds good. I like it. Okay, so if you, but that was your. I'm assuming we have 3 actions each turn, and one of your actions was moving the queen, and then one of them was picking up the blob.
Yeah.
Do you have one more action? I guess you can move with the blob now.
Well, I'd have to attempt. Yeah. If I want to move with the blob, I have to attempt another.
Oh, sure. Oh, you know,
So maybe that would be 2.
2 moves.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're not all balanced yet.
Okay.
But quickly, I want to do. So I was proposing this like additive amount of extra points you get.
Yes.
It shouldn't be that way. It should be based on if it's a jack, queen, or king.
Oh yeah.
that makes more sense.
Like I forgot that mechanic entirely. So you still won the thing, but like.
But maybe jacks don't give you any bonus.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. Jacks don't give you any bonus, so it's 50-50. Queens give you 1, kings give you 2.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
that. Okay, let us do that.
That's going to be more likely you're going to drop the thing, which is probably the goal of this thing anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This is, yeah.
Making progress.
cool.
All right, Steven, you're up.
Speaking of making progress,
Whoa.
my king's getting real close.
Oh, no.
Don't be dropping that blob, or I'm gonna take advantage. Okay.
All right. Steven's 3 kings are now just inches away from Martha's 3 folk with the blob on
I
top.
can almost smell the blob.
Don't you love that blob smell?
Oh,
it just brings me back.
Yeah. Times in North Carolina or wherever it was.
Connecticut, Stephen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Connecticut.
Connecticut, of course.
Yeah, it's from the east-western lowlands.
Yes.
That's where they play this around, lake, whatever you call it.
It's a nice lake. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to move this ball.
Okay, so then you have your 3 characters, so this is your whole turn,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
This might not make sense in the end, but it's how I guess we'll do it for now.
Okay.
All right, so all right, so you're gonna draw a card. Oh, you have to shuffle that 3 back in there.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like a new die roll each time, right?
Oh, so I need to do that too. I need one.
Don't worry, you don't have a full suit of anything, so just put the rest of your cards away. I'll give you one of my suits.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
So just to recap for listeners who are sort of following along as best you're able, we each of us are holding 1 suit from my deck, and then the other players have all the kings, all the queens, all the jacks from their own deck.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to play this game.
You need,
You need 3 decks.
Yeah. You do need 3 decks ultimately.
Okay, so we're going to do war. 3, 2, 1. Flip. I got an ace.
I got a 5.
So
All
I
right.
dropped that thing, I think.
Well, you have the queens +2, so yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 3 versus 5.
Cool. So now, as AI Mark, you get to fall.
Oh, yeah. You get to tell us how far the blob
Okay.
goes and which direction.
All right. So how do you think we should do this? I'll draw something else, but there should be 2 factors. There should be a direction and a distance,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
And this blob should be hard to manage, but not that heavy. So
Yeah, okay.
so when you drop it, it might go flying like a beach ball,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Oh, man, I hope it doesn't fly all the way over there towards Martha, because then I got to move even further with my slow kings.
Okay. Well, I have a spare suit here from my 4 suits, so I'm just going to take a limited number of that.
Okay.
I'll take 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'll also take
What suit is that so we can...
hearts.
Okay, so the hearts are the blob
Yeah.
movement cards.
Here, why don't I take? I'm just trying to do a randomization here that sort of makes some sense. I've got the Jack, Queen, King, and the 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say Jack, Queen, King is going to be, and Ace is, so it's more than half. It only moves 1.
Okay.
And then 2, 3, 4 is 2, 3, or 4. That way, you're most likely to move only 1.
Okay.
I just don't want it to be random 1 through 4 because then it'll be utter chaos.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the best physics system I can come up with.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm shuffling this tiny deck. I'm going to flip. king. So we're just moving one.
Okay.
Okay.
And now it's a direction. So I guess I'm just going to throw a card onto the table, and whichever direction the top of it faces is the way it goes.
Sure.
Which way's the top on that?
That's perfect.
I guess it's, you have to use a face card for that. All right. So I'm taking, actually, I'll take the ace because the heart has a point.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be I'm just going to flip it, spin it, and it'll land on the table, and that's the direction it's going to go. So here I go. Okay, so it's now pointing a little bit towards Steven.
Yes.
But a little bit sort of sideways. So take it and move it just one full length that away.
I think my
just the
people
ball.
stay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And make it just because these are not square cards, point it in the direction of the card, and then move it one full.
Like this.
Roughly.
Yeah, so it runs into your king.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, how about we have a mechanic for this? If the blob hits you, because it's going to hit you,
Oh, yeah.
then something happens.
Yes.
Maybe
that makes sense.
Let's do a war battle,
Okay.
and then it's the same thing. You have your one king, so you get to add 2 or 3, whichever it was.
It was 2.
It was 2. Okay, so, and then if you win, then the blob just falls to your feet.
Okay.
And if I win, you're knocked out for the turn.
Okay. All right. I like that.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
All
My
right.
king, though.
You got 2 others.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
You have another one in range, too.
Yeah.
2. So
Plus 2.
You win.
Yay.
All right. So now put the blob underneath your character.
Okay. Sweet. Oh man, it's gonna take me forever to like actively act on this because I just have kings up.
Yeah. So
fine.
because the blob is so unwieldy,
Yeah.
you always need at least 3 people. It doesn't matter how strong they are or how like stable they are. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
All right. So now it is Steven's turn.
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna move one of my kings towards the stack.
Yeah. Let's say you make it. That seems fine.
Yeah. And then this one's not close enough yet.
Right.
Yeah. So I had my kings out like in the grid of 3, I guess.
Yeah.
One next to one another.
Like an army marching towards me.
Exactly.
Right. Old school siege tactics.
Yeah. And I guess I'm gonna move my jack up closer, but it's not gonna be quite close enough yet. Because I gotta get moving on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when because I'm in range to grab the blob again, while Steven is also grabbing it. What does that? How do we?
How about this? If because this thing is like enormous and wobbly, you can just get under there and try to grab it.
Okay,
Yeah, right. I'm cool with that.
And it's
do we
just,
do a war battle against each other then if we have enough to pick it up?
That's a good idea.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if 2 teams are both on the blob or under the blob, then you do a war battle to see who has control of it.
Okay.
Right. But if Steven were to lift it before you get there, and then you get there, maybe you can just attempt. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe it's just a war battle then too.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, when we get there, you guys can decide what feels best.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna move
Try if you dare.
my jack over here to be on the blob and
Okay.
Steven's kings. And I guess I can do that with my other jack too. Gonna do that.
You know, we could assign some instincts to these characters, like in the video game setting, where they always are trying to lift the blob all the time. So maybe there's a strategy where Steven has 2 characters on the blob and you have 1. So you could have a strategy to try to get the blob in the air. You know what I mean? And
Oh
then,
yeah.
Oh.
like right away, and then have your other characters come to wrest control.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure how that would balance or work, but that seems like a fun strategy.
Yeah. So like we could say, oh right. So if you got people to it, it will automatically try to lift.
Yeah,
If
because
there's
you're always
enough-
just trying to grab it.
Okay. Okay. So we have enough people now. So now we do the war, but maybe it's, how do we do that? Because we're both going to be lifting it. You see what I mean?
Well, it really is. We're just doing a random number generator for if it lifts or not, right? So that I can do that against anybody. And then once it's in the air, then you war against each other for control.
Got it. Okay.
Which direction
like,
you want to do it, and then maybe it becomes you add your own players to each other, right?
Yes. I like that.
Oh,
because I
yeah.
have
And
2
basically, what
kings on
happens
it.
is eventually you can get like 30 people under the blob, and then you have to do all this math, which is what makes games fun.
Okay. So let's do the war to see if we pick it up.
Okay,
So
so I'll just do this hand to you, Martha, because you're the instigating player.
okay.
3 on me,
Jack.
so you got it.
Sweet.
So now the blob is now being held by the 4 players, 2 of Martha's, 1 of Steven's.
Yes. No, 2 of mine.
Oh, sorry, 2 of each.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Martha, you have one move left because you only move 2 of your characters. So you can try to move the blob in your direction.
Okay, I'm going to try to move the blob in my direction.
And now,
how dare you?
So now the war is against each other.
Yes.
Steven has the numerical advantage because he has 2 kings.
So I got +2/+2.
So if Martha wins, then she gets to move it at 1 space, I guess, right? And if Steven wins, he gets to what? It just maybe
block me from doing that.
Yeah, and that's
that
all it is.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Like that's how we wanted the kings to be as defenders.
Yeah.
So that's good. Okay. Shuffle nice.
Shuffling.
Shuffle nice. Shuffle nice. Shuffle nice. Wonderful. Okay, you ready?
3, 2, 1.
8
versus 3.
Oh yeah,
Steven got it.
Definitely beat that.
Okay.
Get blocked.
Okay, Steven's turn.
Can I? So if they're lifting it, and I move my king under it, does that count as it helping lift?
Yeah.
it?
Now you are also lifting it. You just you just get up the edge of the thing.
Cool. Okay.
So now you're there as well.
Sweet. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to try to move it towards my jack.
So here's the thing. If Martha had won that, she only had 2 characters underneath the blob.
Yeah.
But she can move it in direction, but 2 characters is not enough to lift it. Does it just drop, or do we have to actually have it fling somewhere? Because that's still beneficial to Martha.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The way I would think of
But then there's a risk of I'm just going to take my one guy and knock it out of their hands in the direction I want it to go.
Yeah.
But I'm not enough to carry it. But then I can bring my other people in again.
That's what I was thinking. It's basically you just knocking the ball in a direction you want to move it.
right.
That's how I would think of it.
Okay.
If you can't lift it.
Okay. So you now have your 3rd king.
So I can
if you were able to win this battle against Martha,
Yeah.
your characters would move with the blob.
Yes.
Okay.
But not Martha's characters, right?
no, Martha's
Okay.
character would stay put.
Okay. Well, I like that. I got good odds here. I got 3 kings on it. Martha's got 2 jacks. So sounds like my strategy is working. Okay. You ready?
Yes. 3, 2, 1.
Jack.
God, 3.
Oh.
Wow, that's your second 3 in a row, right?
I know. I don't think I shuffled these very well.
Do I get bonus points for
No.
All right, fine.
All right, which
Okay.
direction you want to go?
I'm going to move it towards my jack.
You're moving it back into your own field.
Oh, wait. No, we got to move it towards Martha.
You can do whatever you want. I'm just
Wait, or are we trying to move it towards our base?
I think we want to move it towards...
I think you want to move it towards the other person's.
Towards the other
Otherwise, it
person.
would be easy just to zip in and bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, then there's more opportunity for interaction.
Yeah.
So, for example, Steven has very few options if he doesn't want you to be also under it.
Oh, yeah. You have to maneuver around my players because
Yes.
otherwise you're back.
So you were all 4 of you are in the same place. So, Steven, you can just move right ahead.
Yeah.
Where
So you'll move
Martha's
right
hand
here.
is there.
Okay.
Okay, so
Right
now,
here being,
state
yeah.
of play here is that the blob and Steven's 3 kings are now on Martha's side of the field, just past the 50-yard line, or the 50 bloop line, or whatever you want to call it.
Bloop sounds good.
Leaving her 2 jacks behind in the center of the field, and Martha's 1 queen is flanking the blob. So Martha can take all 3 of those people and get them on the Joker on her turn, if she wants to.
Yes.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Oh,
Okay.
no. I still have advantage because they're my kings.
Yeah.
But
All right, so Martha, you can go underneath the blob because you're immediately become part of the crew that's carrying it.
Okay.
And so you have 2 jacks and a queen. Steven, you have 3 kings.
Yes.
You're all on there. And Martha, you moved all 3 of your characters.
Yes.
So do we say you don't get an opportunity to wrest control? Because that seems
Oh.
weird, because then it's just Steven's turn again.
yeah.
Let's say you just get an opportunity,
Right.
just so we can
For more
play the
actions.
mechanic. Yeah.
Yes. More actions are fun.
And I think there should be an opportunity for physics to come in and knock it out of both of your hands. Like
Okay.
maybe all 3 of us roll.
Oh, right. Because each time you move it, you have to.
Yeah, we
Do
kind
a-
of missed that. So why don't we do each 3 of us? And I still don't have the advantage, right?
Yeah.
So whoever gets it has to beat both the opposing player and the computer.
Oh, yeah.
If the computer beats both of you, then it goes flying.
Okay.
So that gives it's still advantage player.
Yeah.
But
that
yeah.
makes sense.
Okay. So we ready? All 3 of us are going to draw.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Draw. Ace.
5.
Dang.
Dang. Steven's got it.
Yeah, I do.
All right. So nothing happens because it was Martha's
Yeah.
offensive. So
I keep it. Okay.
I was thinking of it's some Muppet movie where there's all the mice and they're trying to carry something and they're just like la 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 la, and then that like overbalances them and they go ah, la 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 the other way.
That's basically what this game is.
Yeah.
So I'm identifying a problem immediately, at least the way this prototype working, is that there's little incentive now that there's wresting control over the ball for any player to introduce new characters.
Well, you can only the rule that we originally started with is you can only move 1 character once, right? that could include the ball movement. Yes.
Sure.
In which case, then you could, introduce more characters to.
Oh, now that you're all on there. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Because you both have, because what happens is Martha got control of the ball first.
Yes.
But then moved one space into Steven's territory. Then you fought over it. And because Steven had the king's immediate advantage, and now that advantage is just never going to leave him. So,
that's true. So
I mean, we can keep going, but like I'm identifying some breaking points.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It is my turn now, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So I am going to attempt to move the ball again.
Okay.
And so all of us go against each
All
other,
of us
right?
are going. Yeah.
All right.
Because you actually do not have control. You're all still underneath it, trying to wrest control.
Okay.
All right.
all right, 3, 2, 1,
Queen.
8.
6.
Okay, so my queen, that's a 12?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so Steven, you have your 3 kings, so that's adds 6 to 8.
Is 14.
Dang, okay.
Still win. Okay. So I'm moving it. I can move it now, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm moving it forward again.
And my players stay put.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct. Okay.
Which ultimately might not be how we'd want to play it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like in this game, it might be that just it's about the controlling the direction.
Oh, yeah, because
And
it would be
everybody
everybody underneath it going, ah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but for now, we'll stick with these rules.
Okay, so my turn now.
Then there's more incentive to bring more of your people underneath it.
I have 2 more action stuff, right?
Oh, right.
So now Steven has 2 queens on the board, a jack,
Yes.
both back in his field.
Yes.
And then he's got his 3 kings holding the blob, getting pretty close to Martha's end zone there.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Well, Martha, you've got that king on the board. That's you just moved it 1 space forward, but like you could move. I mean, it's just 1 space off the board, so he's pretty close to the thing, really.
Yes, I'm going to move that king over 1 towards the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move another king out onto the field, and I'm going to move the queen from that was under the blob and now isn't back under the blob. So now I have a king in front of the ball, a king diagonal from the ball, and then a queen underneath the ball.
So Martha has formed basically a defensive block, in front of the goal for Steven. Yeah, that seems about right. And moved one of her queens underneath. So Martha, now you could wrest control because we're just letting you do it, right? Any attempt, right?
Okay.
But you only have the queen to do it. So you're still against his 3 kings, so you have to draw good. But this also gives an opportunity for the thing to get lost with my help. All right, so this feels like a real fun one. Steven's probably going to win it again. He's been drawing good. He's also got the points on his side.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Ah. Oh, ace. Oh, no.
5.
10.
You jinxed me, Mark.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to do.
Okay, so
Power
I think
of talking.
So yeah, my 6
physics wins.
my +6
Physics
bonus
wins.
does not
All right,
beat
let me
10.
find that ace of hearts. I'm going to spin it.
Okay.
It is now moving basically the same place it moved last time, which is just a little bit horizontally and a little bit behind Steven towards away from Martha's goal.
Yes, but closer to Martha's 2 jacks.
That's right.
On the field.
So Martha's actually in a much better position now.
Yeah.
So this randomness is really helping.
Cool.
All right, my turn. I'm going to move my...
Well, no, it's Steven's turn now.
Oh, it's Steve. Right. Right. I just went. Sorry.
You just had a... Well,
I just want all the turns.
next game.
Let me at him.
Okay, well, I'm going to move my kings closer.
Well, because the thing only moved 1 space, you could move all your kings underneath the ball.
I'm doing that then.
But you do need to attempt to lift it.
Yes.
Oh, wait. There's one other thing I didn't. I didn't draw from my tiny deck to see how far it would go.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
Let me just do that
do
real
that
quick
real
just to see if it goes any further.
Sure.
Queen. So that's 1. So
Yeah, okay.
it's where it is. Okay, great.
Okay.
All right. So Steven is now running after the blob and is caught up to it because there's only 1 space away. And now he's going to make an attempt to lift it.
Yes.
Which is the same attack against me, the physics.
Yes.
And he's got his 6-point advantage.
Oh, it's just me, the physics.
Yeah. All right. Martha, you got to do that countdown.
3, 2, 1.
6.
Wow.
So
I still win.
You got it.
Yes. Okay.
By 1.
Yeah.
Well, good job.
this king, the 3 kings on it.
So now you're holding it, and then that's the end of your turn.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Wait. No. Oh, no. I moved him, and then I tried to pick it up.
Right.
And then I have another action left, right?
No, because you moved all 3 kings.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, that's it then.
Okie dokie.
So Martha, you can get your whole squadron under there.
I can? Oh, yeah.
Well, it's just those 3, so it's the same battle as before. But your kings are still in a defensive position, but they're not close enough to pick up the thing.
Yes. So I moved all 3 of my offense players, I guess, under the ball.
Yep. So the other play you could make here, Martha, is because Steven is going to want to go towards your goal and your kings are waiting there, is you could use this turn to bring your kings forward so that next turn...
Oh, yeah.
That's an option.
I'm going to do that.
Okay, and it's a type of thing we haven't done yet. So.
Yes. Okay, so that's where it was, basically, right?
Yeah, and your jacks, which are closest to the blob, could catch up to the blob anywhere it goes.
Right.
The queen as well. So you might want to use your two kings and maybe introduce a new king and get it right in the thing's path.
Okay, I'm going to move my king forward, my other king forward, and then introduce a new king.
Cool.
On the board. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh boy, I feel surrounded. Cool. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna move the ball one.
Okay, because you've lifted it.
Yes, I have.
All right. So Steven's going to attempt to make one more move.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna beat you, Blob.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
8.
Wow, ace.
Oh, it falls. Okay.
Oh.
Hooray. All right. Now I take my little deck for direction.
Yeah.
Queen goes 1.
Okay.
Now I got to spin
Ooh.
that guy.
Oh.
And it moves, again, back towards Steven's goal. It's now very close to the center of the field again.
This is not making my job easy.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems like we've now had a huge reversal.
Yeah.
And Martha's built a lot of defenses. And as much as I'd love to play out this endgame, it actually take quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's call this it. I think we did a pretty good job here.
Yeah.
Steven, you've taken notes.
Yes.
Thank you, Steven.
Our listeners at home can give this a shot and imagine, how you could maybe tighten up these rules a little bit, and also imagine how it would work ultimately as a video game.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, that's the thing we haven't done here for Night's Games Jam, and I think we did an okay job.
Yeah, I want to do like a game jam,
Will
an
we actually
actual
do this?
game jam where we actually make it.
It would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Next Global Game Jam then.
Perhaps. Yeah. Ooh. Nice Games Club at Global Game Jam.
Yeah. Hey, that's our show. If you haven't already, subscribe to Nice Games Club in your favorite podcast app. Be sure to give it a good review if you liked it, or a nice like us. We need to know you're out there, so leave a review and tell all your friends too. You can play the game that we just played. You can check out the rules in the show notes. Steven took notes, and we're going to clean them up a little bit for you. So be sure to check that out. And check out our previous Nice Games Jam games as well to give us some feedback on those. We want to hear directly from you also, so follow us on Twitter and all the other things at Nice Games Club, and email us at contact@nicegames.club. Lastly, you can find out more about the show and your nice host, as well as get all the links and notes from this and other episodes at nicegames.club. So until we start again, remember to
Play nice.
And make nice.